At home in front of a sellout crowd in the Palablanca Sport here in Piacenza. The home side in red, Gas Sales Blue Energy Piacenza get the game underway against the Block Devils. The team in white, Sasusa Sky, Perugia. And what a start that is. Thanks for joining us here on VBTV. Simon Golding with you for this one. And our volleyball world expert analyst, Liam Sketcher. And Liam, Piacenza going at it exactly the same way as they did in game one.
Galassi completely ignoring the first tempo, staying in the middle of the court and reading on a really positive reception.
So a little tester for Gianelli early on. Comes back to the pipe again, and Plotnitsky, who was living off the pipe in game one, can't put it away a second time on the bounce. But of course, where Perugia are concerned, there's plenty of other options.
Nice recognition from Gianelli that it is a read situation for Galassi, that he can use Russo as long as he's there on tempo.
Semenya started strong from the service line in the opener. Lost some rhythm as the game went on, but the whole team did. How the world is changing. And Dringa puts the pipe away. How about that, Liam?
Well, Boninfante has obviously said in game one, we're going to try some different things. Game two, perhaps nothing different. Calling the number of Robert Handrinka early on the back row attack.
I love it. Galassi, can he up his service rhythm a bit? Still just sending those deeper floats over. He won't be happy of missing that one, but not trying to put huge amounts of service pressure on early Piacenza, just trying to get the ball in play, just create some issues, give some problems for Perugia to solve. Find out how committed Perugia want to be from the service line. Normally, go at it full throttle. Oh, well, there we go. There's another fairly early question answered.
Feed the big guy. Perfect situation, and business continues where it left off in game one. Straight into the seam, past the block. Trouble for Big Bob Simon.
I was quoting the wrong music.
I've not got a lot of musical theatre references in my bag, so I'll leave those ones to you.
Then Gianelli was really good as the pressure built and the momentum disappeared. He produced some very nice service runs to get Perugia over the line, and starts with a serve on his opposite captain, Simon. Free ball, Perugia. Bentara's first attack. It's a pencil straight tip. Might get another swing here. No, they go wide to Plotnitsky, and Plotnitsky has cut it off the block for the point. No challenge required.
Early on, interesting to see how the distribution will be from Perugia in transition. We know that from perfect situations, they want to be able to use a lot of pipe, use the middle of the court. But do they try and put some pressure against Porro, against different parts of the Piacenza block?
From Gianelli this time. Contained by Pachi, who's been another star of this season. Plotnitsky off the top of the block, defended. Bovalenta looking sure of that one. He's not going to get a clean swing on that. Gutierrez is brought into it. And there's the slight issue that Piacenza have with Gutierrez, that lack of consistency at times.
Didn't look convinced afterwards that it was the shot that he was trying to play. He's swinging towards the court. Troubling signs early for Bovalenta. Two good looks. Looked like he was really convinced on the first shot to take enough angle on the line. The second looked a little bit safe going back cross court. Looked like he's settled on how he wants to solve what the Perugia block is giving him.
Early invitation here for Perugia to go with game plan A. Captain to serve again at 5-3. Nice serve. Good pass. A very good pass, but it does take Gutierrez out of the system, so That's where Bovalenta can earn his money today.
Poro does a really nice job of showing straight arms and really saying, I'm going to set Simon here, and then a nice flick backwards to Bovalenta. Do him the world of good to put one on the floor.
Young talent. You expect some inconsistency from young players, but he's been superb as the season has gone on. Gutierrez catches Cruzato, and Plotnitsky unloads with an extremely accurate hit.
That is blazing swing from across his shoulder to find the corner. I cannot express how difficult that shot is and how easy he made that look.
A few injuries slowing him up in the last couple of seasons. A nasty hamstring injury last year. Plotnitsky, when he is fit, he looks full of joys. He looks like he really loves playing still. He's just beautiful to watch. We talk about Bentara being glorious to watch in the air. Plotnitsky there, just a thing of beauty.
Lefty swinging away from the body, takes the most difficult angle. Gutierrez giving him that space on the line as well. So now for Gutierrez, he has to be in two minds. Does he move and create a bigger seam on the inside, or dare Plotnitsky to go to the line again?
He's covering a little bit more of it this time. Straight down the middle. Check controls. Bovalenta hits nicely, and that one pinpoint accurate as well.
Sharper angle from Bovalenta. He has to take a little bit more risk, whether it's at the top of the block or whether it's working cross court, that he can try and find a way to keep the scoreboard ticking over. And interestingly, Galassi steps out of the game early.
And maybe just nodded across to the bench there to let them know that he wanted to come out. Unusual to see him leave so early, and it's clearly caught the attention of Perugia, who were not focusing on the off-pace serve from Simon.
Caught by the slower ball. Puts it in front of Plotnitsky once more. Of course, if we've been talking about young talent and what's missing, just to the left of your frame there, Yoris Sadiq, the young Frenchman, unable to be involved in the game.
Very good young player, 20 years of age, 2 meters and 12.
That's definitely a reason why he was pushed into the French national team at such a young age. Incredible physical talent. Every time we see him, be it at club or international level, he seems to have grown in his understanding and knowledge how he wants to become the next big thing in the middle.
Cruzato with the serve. It's going to be the first set to the new man on court, Francesco Comparoni, who's come in to replace the experienced Gianluca Galassi, but no, instead it's just a beautiful one-handed reverse.
Poro saying to Bovalenta, we're going to get you going early, we're going to create some pressure, hopefully you can crack the game open for your teammates.
Deep serve from Bovalenta. Oh, wow. Well, there's a couple of elements out on the wing with Andringa and Poro, particularly in this rotation, that should be targets, but the block stands up to it. Set across court from Comparoni, and Poro, he gets credited with the full block, 100 Superliga blocks for a man that stands 1 meter 83, not bad going, and Piacenza doing a little of something what they did in the first match, coming back and taking the lead.
Service pressure a little bit more direct in game two, a bit more velocity, starting to create some consistency.
Touch cushions it in. So has been, well, since Christmas really, and recovering from that back surgery, he's been ever present in the starting lineup, and he's just looking back to his best.
His best is really good. He's been always in and around the best teams in world volleyball. To have him fit and firing really adds another dimension for him.
Tara then. Flips the net. Ronnie takes a ball a little bit off the net and a little bit low there and puts it out of play, so not a good start from Comparoni in offence.
Poro looking for, again, the unexpected. On the pipe early this time, Comparoni in first tempo.
That's more like it from Bentara. They're not going full throttle at the line at the moment, Perugia. A little bit more control on the serves, and Piacenza responding well. That'll help Gutierrez's confidence.
Enough balance now in the offense. They've got some points from Andringa. They'll look to get Gutierrez going. Bovalenta's scoring well. Simon's always a threat.
Wow, that pass is good. Liam, we've said it several times now, but the game looks virtually impossible for the middle blockers on an in-system ball.
Especially when they're reading, so there's not a really clearly defined block tactic that Piacenza seem to be using, particularly Russo front row.
Ball contact from Bovalenta goes at the top of the block, back of the court, misses both.
Where does Porro go now? Does he try and go straight back to Bovalenta and say, I trust you, the ball is coming your way, we're going to work together through this? Another unconventional option.
Has to go to Gutierrez, who thrashes it into the block. And again, Bovalenta once more, and he gets roofed straight on the floor by Russo. And they've just nudged Perugia, and Perugia hitting back hard.
That is textbook block. It's not a hard choice for Russo, but the technique, how he squares shoulders to the net, gets hands straight from out of his shoulders. Almost lands back on the centre line.
First time out of the game. It's called by Dante Bonifanti.
Questo giro, attenti ai razzi come prima ce ne usciamo. I giri dopo, quando va a battere Simone, tutti quanti, responsabilità di tutti, dalla ricezione all'attacco. Come abbiamo detto, poco servizio deve restare. Se ti arriva un'altra palla staccata come quella di prima, mira alto, 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 che è forte però, andiamo a far male fuori.
Last bit of that timeout directed at Gutierrez. High, 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 and strong. So for him, trying to find angles past the Perugia block, trying to find the court, maybe not the play today. Trust that the block will be there. Go high, swing strong at the fingers, and look at what happens.
Recovery teams. Semenuk can find a good serve off the back of this timeout and give his blockers another chance to isolate one of the Piacenza hitters. That's a great pass. Oh, that's just wonderful setting.
Porro does a really nice job, shifted back towards position 2. So Pache taking the space in the middle of the floor. Nice, fast, long play. Exactly what was being asked for in the timeout. For Gutierrez to get on it as high and swing strong and deep.
Comparoni gets the overpass out of Plotnitsky. An unconventional defence from Bentara. Fortunately, the Palabanca Sport roof just high enough.
Great composure for the off-speed swing in transition. Just need a knee or something to really jack that ball up. It's a shot you don't expect to see from too many setters.
2 metres tall.
He's not your regular.
No, he's something a little bit special. Gutierrez controls the ball well, but there's that commit block we were speculating about, and it's Crusato that shuts down Simon.
Porro shows early straight arms. That ball's likely to be going first tempo. This situation there to try and hold Crusato for the next where he can play just the pop over the top Gutierrez and get him a one-on-one.
In the meantime, Block Devils open up a 4-point lead. Hybrid serve is good again. Pass is good again. Simon should have been defended there, and Semenuk knows it.
Get too many chances where Orlando Simon doesn't hit the ball full power. It's an opportunity missed for the defenders.
I love the maximum jump commit block from Crusato.
The situations you really have to go full, knowing what happened in game one and the body language, the arm position from Poro showing that he wants the intention to set first tempo as much as he can.
That's better. And Poro really angry that hasn't got an ace. He was just stood there looking at the ceiling. That was well played by Perugia.
This is where Perugia frustrates teams so much. They're so confident in high ball situations, working away from the net. The hitters have confidence that the ball's going to be where they want it to be and they can choose their shot.
So an element of control here for Perugia. This rotation was kind to them in game one with Gianelli serving, Bentara into that front court on the right side. Good disguise from Poro before that fast feed out to Gutierrez. He does look happier on that fast ball.
He really does, where he doesn't have to think too much about his options. He can just go up and pick a spot and swing to it. Poro starting to play the cat and mouse with his arm position against the middles from Perugia, and look who's stepped into the game.
Right then, Mandaraccio in for Andringa, purely as blocking height. He didn't hit much in the warm-up. That is straight into the net from Gutierrez, so Mandaraccio denied the opportunity of blocking, but he's staying out there.
He's so high, even a tip from him is a pretty dangerous attack. He may be a decoy, just the threat, the possibility. Does Perugia have a strategy for if he's in the game?
Bolinski attacks him, and attacks him hard. That's not a bad pass from Mandaraccio, but the tip from Bovalenta is picked up easily, and that is just so good. When you see teams adjust their positions on court like that, it's a wonderful thing to watch.
It's really fluid. The move on first tempo, Bentara out of the play, sorry, tip on the first contact. The confidence from Gianelli to know exactly which ball Plotnitsky wants him to set there. Left-hander hitting from the right-hand side.
4 points for Plotnitsky. He's equal with Russo at the top of the tree. The big serve from Plotnitsky. There we go. You're absolutely right, Liam Sketcher. A 50-60% attack from Mandaraccio is still capable of scoring points.
Nice little chip off the outside of the block. Just waits. Little half swing.
So a couple of changes to the lineup. Comparoni and Mandaraccio in for Piacenza. Simon cranks the serve. You heard the contact there on the wrists of the passer. He hit that ball very hard. And the block is excellent. Comparoni and Mandaraccio and Bovalenta put up the roof.
Piacenza did outblock Perugia in game one. Not often that happens to the block Devils, but this is a standard recycle play. This should be controlled 9 times out of 10. This is something they would work on time and time again in practice. The expectation on that shot is that the cover is ready.
Mandaraccio's impact has been instant. One decent pass off a Plotnitsky thunderbolt. Some good blocking height and a very nice finesse shot. Simon changes the pace of the attack. Well played, well read by Colacci. Gets an immediate thank you from Plotnitsky.
This is the textbook play. Excellent reception. Gianelli gets a little look. First tempo is there and forces the choice from the opposition middle, and Plotnitsky on a beautiful tempo, just flows through the ball.
Piacenza Ultras just upping the ante. Overpass, Poro can't get to it, and the referee has given it Perugia's way, despite Piacenza's protests.
Change coming. Anything else for a break? Continue. It looked like there was a C being flashed by Bonifante. Mandaraccio into the game, having had a little bit of time off the stress test early on.
Great reads. This is superb stuff from Russo. Second time out then for Piacenza.
facciamo, ragazzi, amen. Il resto li abbiamo fatto tutto noi. Attacchi fuori, le murate, ok. Andiamo sulle pipe sempre che fanno il doppio salto negli angoli. Rischi anche, prendi confidenza anche col blockout sul primo di rete alto lungo, provalo, d'accordo, E poi un po' di coraggio in più,
Liam, slightly worrying here for Dante Bonifanti because there's a feeling here that Perugia are basically saying, okay, we've already seen what you've got from game one and we're countering it brilliantly.
It really is. It requires PIACENZA to either double down and really commit to the plan and play with maximum risk, maximum intensity, or they have to find another card to play, because it feels like Perugia have enough answers to all the questions PIACENZA have been asking so far. The stability, particularly from the service line from Perugia, would be worrying. PIACENZA receivers do a lot of work.
Unbelievable reach block from Russo and a cheeky trickle ace from Crasato. It is all going the Block Devils' way at the moment.
Interestingly, Mandaraja being hit all the way across the left-hand side of the court. Gutierrez, Pache taking basically the whole court by themselves. Then really exposes Gutierrez as a receiver, particularly against the float serve.
Mandarachi this time, it's an out-of-system ball. That's one he would normally crunch into the angle. And I'm afraid Perugia have got PIACENZA's number tonight at the moment.
His body position here is delightful. Facing the net, has two players in the space behind him. There's nothing that shows early where that ball's going to go. He can set both balls perfectly from that body position. Reasons why he's one of the best in the world.
Again, Mandarachi not able to put full force through that ball. Tara was able to do so. He thinks he's caught the fingernails of the block. Referee agrees, and Perugia have coasted to 9 set points in the opener.
Not enough on reception, not enough scoring from position forward. Bovalenza has disappeared from the offense in the latter parts of set number 1.
Good run this from Crasato. Good hefty swing across his body from Comparoni.
Really tricky decision-making process now for Boro. How much is too much from Mandaraja? When does he go back to Bovalenza to keep him in rhythm? And how much does he try and use the middle of the court?
Semenyuk threads the eye of the needle, finds the line, and subject to any challenge that Dante Bonifanti might issue, it is first set to Sasusa Sky Perugia. We're going to have to wait to see on the video, but Semenyuk looked pretty confident.
The original call is that the ball was in, so the video needs to be clearly showing that the referees got it wrong. So we've rolled to a fairly anticlimactic end.
Oh dear. Oh dear. So there we go, challenge lost. I don't think that's going to play a role as this set develops, unless Bovalenza, of course, finds a magical service run. He goes for it. Had licence to thrash that one as hard as he wanted. Unfortunately, it's in. Unfortunately for Perugia, it's in.
Just 6 more to go. This is good from Bovalenza. Aggressive choice getting across the receiver. So working from his right shoulder to his left with velocity.
Comes the net. Gianelli makes the play. Semenyuk manages to get it through. So not quite as clinical as Perugia were hoping at the end there, but it's still convincing. 25 points to 18. They take the first set. And Gas Sales Blue Energy PIACENZA are under a considerable amount of pressure at the moment. So there we go, 1-0 Perugia. Just go back to the point that you just made, Liam, about moving that ball across the receiver. Is that an element where you're trying to pressure that passer's platform?
The toughest one for the receiver. They have to change everything from being towards the court to moving away and cutting off the angle. So it's the most acute angle that the receiver has to create. That also means that maybe they have to make some adjustments with their foot positioning, the angles with their hips and shoulders. So particularly servers working from the middle of the court are trying to create that angle a little bit more. Sometimes the short angle in particular is really tough as well. So it's a tactical idea. It's the idea of why serving to the corners of the court is difficult for a receiver, because they have to make a bigger angle.
So Dante Bonifanti, the coach under pressure, he can't really do a huge amount here with the resources that he has. He just needs the guys in the game to deliver at a slightly heavier level, Liam.
It's converting opportunities. For Gutierrez and Bovalente in particular, those two guys have to start turning some more swings into points. Keep some scoreboard pressure on Piacenza, because at the moment, Perugia doesn't look like they're having to do anything above their normal high level to get through this one. The pressure not coming from the scoring on the Piacenza side of the net.
Well, game one taught us that Piacenza can settle into things. They were 2-0 down before winning that third set. And that certainly rattled Perugia. They had to work hard to get through in 4. But at the moment, as Liam said, Perugia playing within themselves. So it's up to Piacenza to make things happen. Simon, the man in your picture, Bovalente, Gutierrez, the 3 players responsible really for getting this scoreboard turning. Let's see what else they can get out of it. At the moment, Perugia look really solid. And Russo leading scorer with Plotnitsky on 5, Russo on 6.
It's the story of the Perugia offense. The balance has been really good. Semenyuk only needs to take a couple of swings, score a couple of points. Bentara, we didn't mention his name very much. So the balance there, and they have so many different ways they can distribute the ball, different angles they can create. For Piacenza, they have to sacrifice something somewhere, as Perugia seems like they've always got one or more options available to score.
Away we go with set 2, the Block Devils of Sususa Sky Perugia in the white, away at the Palabanca Sport here in Piacenza. Team in red, the home side, Gas Sales Blue Energy Piacenza start with Comparoni on court, so he's coming in for Gianluca Galassi very early and stayed on the floor. Robert Andringa returns to the court, so the experiment with an injured Efe Mandaracci, who's got an injured shoulder at the moment. Will be an offence from the backcourt hitters, so Bentara stepping on the attack line. Piacenza will take this. It's an early 2-point lead. And that ain't bad from Robert Andringa. That's just fantastic.
3 points to 0 at the start of set number 2, and Robert Andringa has his name on 2 of them. One with an attack, one with a block. Beautiful positioning, beautiful timing. Shows that even though he's not the peak athlete he once was, the smarts are still there.
Another good block. Out of the pipe this time. Semenyuk slowed down. Chance for Bovalente. Can't quite take it to 4 just yet. Good setting again from Porro when all the odds were stacked for that ball to go to Simon.
It's really clear for Porro that he has to find ways for Bovalente to score. It might just be sheer bloody-mindedness of, I'm going to keep setting you, you're going to have to keep finding a way. But right now, Perugia needs to find a way. Take a time out to talk about how.
Didn't get a close-up of Lorenzetti at the start of that second set, but I promise you, he would have had a fairly normal expression for him at the start of sets like this. He does look exasperated at times with his players when they start in this manner.
It's always the fear of coaches. We've rolled through a set, and how well are we going to start the next set? Are we going to relax too much? Are we going to think that it's going to happen easily? Apparently not at the start of set number 2. Piacenza off to a flyer.
Maroni with the next serve. Sticks a short one in. And they've got him again. Bovalenta shuts down Plotnitsky. This is a fabulous start from the home team in red.
Fantastic block choices, backing up some great tactical serving. So the ball shifted, no option with Semenyuk on the pipe. And they've made a really good read with the ball to not go backwards to Bentara. There's obviously some information in back row. That's not the option they want to set.
On it again, Comparoni, good defence. Once again, Bovalenta given the ball. And he's doing a fine job here. Well, if Piacenza needed a period of play to get their confidence back, this is exactly it.
Fantastic choices on block. They've really come out with a plan of what they want to do in these rotations with Bentara back row, taking some information from previous games and game number 1. Bovalenta starting to get it rolling.
It's me, not the cleanest from Russo. Not the cleanest from Bovalenta either, so that magnificent run of points is stopped. But Piacenza have a 6-1 lead to work in set 2.
Probably the ball that Boninfante wants Bovalenta just tee off the last set of hands. So if the triple block comes, he can swing for somewhere about row Z and try and take a finger with it.
Russo, Gutierrez passes well. Not the best set location from Porro, and Andringa can't quite contain it.
Really good job of holding that position, really keep Crusato in the middle as long as possible, then sacrifices some precision at the end.
Well, we talked about Bovalenta and what he could have done with that last shot. It's important to remember, isn't it, Liam, that he's still a very young man and learning his trade. So as a coach, you have to cut him some slack there.
In the season, yes. Now we're in playoffs. Got to deliver.
Spoken like a true coach.
He's a fantastic young talent, and he probably doesn't actually know what his best elements of his game are yet. What are the skills that are going to take him to the very top? Obviously, playing in the best league in the world shows that there's a lot to work with. But taking those medium situations and making them good ones.
Bovalenta 7 points now, top of the tree. But this is the rotation where they've got to make it count straight away, and that's the way to make it count. Bounce it up to the ceiling through the middle.
And unsurprisingly, Robert Landy-Simon says, yeah, I do this every day. Don't need a big reaction on that one, even though that is an absolute monster.
Not even a flicker of emotion. Pace. Gutierrez gets good hands on that. Deflection just beats Pacha down the line, but Perugia having to work hard here to keep the scoreboard turning.
Short distance set. Gutierrez gets his body into the right position but doesn't get the timing right, so he's already turned. Bentara knows that he can find the space just outside the shoulder of the blocker.
Should be Perugia closing the gap to 3. Just like that from Kamil Semenyuk, who's been a bit quiet up until now.
Phenomenal tempo, phenomenal precision on the set. Semenyuk is in rhythm and at the top of his jump, ready to play this ball. This is absolute precision over the top of Porro.
International professional coach William Sketcher, volleyball world expert analyst on this game, giving us some really nice insights into what the players are trying to do out there on the floor. Insight into that one, Liam.
Well, I can tell you what Crusato was trying to do. He was trying to block Robert Landy-Simon, which is much easier said than done. This is an aggressive set, shifted to 2, and Simon can hit this ball anywhere in that half of the court. He's really front on, has all his range swinging away from the body.
find a serve. Positive scoreboard would tend to suit Robert Landy Simon. He's gone at that one heavy. And we're going to get a video challenge. This didn't look close in real time, I have to say, but the rest of the Piacenza team were pretty convinced he got this to drop like a stone onto the baseline.
Confidence to be aggressive with some scoreboard pressure for Piacenza. They can really start to push and start to ask the question a bit more of Perugia. That might be enough to break the game open.
The reaction from the crowd tells you all you need to know. It is out of bounds. So the challenge is successful from Angelo Lorenzetti. It means that Perugia actually retain the point as well as the challenge. And Crusato will get to serve. Really important here that Piacenza try and manage the game. Take this as deep as they can in set 2. They don't want to be giving things away for free. It's another fine hit. Bovalenta.
Lovely location on the back row ball. Just swinging deep corner. So he's choosing his spot. He's not thinking too much about where the block is. I'm going to hit the ball here. If the block is good enough, I can still play high.
Wow, that was a crazy set from Gianelli once again, and Russo with this ability to manoeuvre the ball around the block.
Really great body control. Working to the short side of the court, so the ball shifted towards 2. That Russo has vision of where the block might be, sees the hands and knows where the big open part of the court will be.
On the charge here. Piacenza need to resist, and that net touch will help Bovalenta on this occasion.
Body language from Bovalenta is already a huge step forward, not just from set 1, but from game 1. He looks engaged, he looks like he's approaching the ball with confidence and swinging with a really clear idea of what he's trying to do, instead of trying to find a different solution every time.
Big serve from Gutierrez. It's never far away. And he has come to the party right when Piacenza need him.
Middle part of the set, it's really easy for Piacenza to say, oh, we're off to a great start, and then they get to 16s and all of a sudden it's only a 2-point lead. So to keep that intensity, keep pushing, to take the right amount of risk, this is critical for Piacenza if they want to level this at 1 set apiece.
Perugia president Gino Cerci in the glasses just behind him, a little more subdued than he was at home the other night, where he was dancing all the way to that 4-set victory. Gutierrez find another one. No, not this time, but a nice impact from that first ace. That helps the scoreboard.
Anytime it's a break point, make your opponents take another look at the server. Once you've earned one, even if you give one back, it's reducing the amount of time your opponents have to nullify your advantage.
Again from Semenyuk. Nice recycle from Piacenza, but it results in a free ball, and that is an absolute bonus. Russo has drilled it out of court.
Similar to the ball before, where Russo made the adjustment where he needed to turn past the block. This time he tries to go the short angle and ends up with it too close. His elbow a little bit low, so he can't get on top of the ball and bring it down inside the court.
Very handy lead. But when he decides that he's going to risk all on that one, nothing doing.
It was his serve to start the set that got them into such a commanding position. A little rush of blood, some impatience from Camperoni.
Took another 6 points on his serve. That was the start Piacenza got to this second set. Very few serve errors from Perugia at the moment. Shows you their thinking from the service line tonight, but Piacenza are controlling really nicely here.
Nice mid-tempo play. Just that Andringa take a look, know that he's not going to hit all the angles, but he can wait and see the block, play block out. Nice, smart, experienced play. Or using some balance to the offense as well.
So few errors creeping in for Piacenza. 4 points doesn't quite feel enough. Still feels like they're going to have to do some work with that particular lead.
4 points at this stage of the set looks okay, but 25 might seem a long way away if Perugia can pick up a break point or two.
Gianelli box of serving tricks. Goes power. Gutierrez, good pass, and the tempo out to Andringa. So classy.
Forcing Perugia to respect that there is scoring from position 4, which wasn't there in game 1. Bentara jumps with Robert Landis-Simon, and I think he smiled because he's happy that he is making his job easier for his teammates.
100% from Robert Andringa.
Good numbers, you'll take that.
So, side outs are coming here for Perugia. Serve errors from Piacenza, just changing the momentum slightly. Now they've got to try and score from the baseline.
Difference of letting Perugia off the hook. Comparoni serve the second time round. So much trouble the first time.
Wow. And Plotnitsky gets straight on it. He clipped the net with that serve, but it looks like it's caught the baseline as well.
Great job down the middle. 4 receivers. The court doesn't balance out evenly. A lot of seams to take care of. Good time out from Piacenza to find out what they want to do to sort out this side out.
Va bene. Ok. Allora, cerchiamo in battuta, anche senza forzare, ma con variazioni di evitare però colaggi. Battiamo sui 2 ricevitori che stanno soffrendo un po' di più, D'accordo? Vamo, raga, vai.
The offense is not the challenge for Piacenza at the moment. It's making sure they can keep the service pressure on their break point. So when they are serving the ball, that is the thing that is going to get them home in this set, because they have lost the pressure that they had in the early stage on serve, particularly after the Comparoni service error. That's 6 more rotations where particularly Plotnitsky serving. Perugia can narrow that gap and get to probably the 3rd full set of rotations for the set, where if they can win that, 2 out of 3 will get them a shot at winning the set.
Scalassi clearly not feeling up to it this evening. The big serve from Plotnitsky. Gutierrez pressure ball, has to go for the recycle. Then the power tip. He's trying not to make an error, but it's giving Perugia opportunities. 3rd time of asking. This time goes for it. The block slows it down, and Perugia now to score. No. They got in a bit of a mess there, and Porro gets himself a huge stop.
Looked like Perugia had found their way through that point, and in the end the ball not quite at the tempo that Semenyuk was expecting. He finds himself hanging just a little bit underneath, unable to create the verticality that he wants. Porro block back into play.
Time for the captain then to step up. Can Robert Landis-Simon find some big services to put Piacenza right onto the front foot? In comes Voronok. Coming in for Kamil Semenyuk as well. Wow, he gets so high, Plotnitsky.
This is the play that we saw in game number 1 that Plotnitsky was unstoppable on. The pipe where he's running in behind the setter rather than going in front creates a really difficult choice for the Piacenza blockers on the left-hand side, having to respect Bentara and the pipe hitter.
Pressure ball. Gutierrez hits it well. Just what Piacenza need as they take this set a little deeper with a good lead.
Managed to stabilise. Was catching up from Perugia. Kept the scoreboard ticking over. Kept the margin where it is. Porro starting to move the ball around a little bit. Maybe a chance to get Bovalenta running again at the end of the set.
Huge from Porro again, frustration from him that it's not scored an ace. But it did set up the opportunity, and as that clipped Bovalenta on the way, referee says yes, Perugia point.
Fancy gesticulates. Bovalenta pleads his innocence. Might be watching some really terrible amateur theatre if this doesn't go either way.
He does look genuinely innocent here. Oh, wow. It looked like it could have caught a piece of the shirt on the way. Very tough for the referees to call in at close quarters that kind of play.
It feels like one of those moments where we've got our answers. Bovalenta in the face on the way through, I think. At least caught his shoulder. 17-14, Perugia. Chance to keep pressure on through the Bentara serve. Pressure eventuates.
Well, it's exactly what Piacenza needed. This game has become quite fragmented from that fluid performance that Perugia turned in the first set. This is very stop-start. And weirdly, some of those serve errors means Perugia can't get some rhythm, so it's not all bad.
They're not playing a lot of volleyball, so it's not that they can overwhelm Piacenza with just this never-ending stream of situations where Piacenza have to find solutions.
Good serve from Joranok, who's usually a serve substitute, but has come in to replace Kamil Simenyuk. And that means that there's clearly something up with Simenyuk. I'm not sure that is just a straight Lorenzetti substitution.
What that also means is for Perugia that they probably use Bentara a little bit more with Javronok front row. Gutierrez taking his lead from the court. He comes in effectively with drink out there. 3 liberos for Piacenza.
Yeah, I love that. It's a 3 libero backcourt. And one of them tips the ball for the recycle. Nice from Comperoni. So a bit of a situation here for Paolo Porro to try and manage, but he's managing it well enough.
Transition, particularly that little bit of movement where he can still set fast both ways. The edge blockers for Perugia have to leave early for a fast ball. He knows he has one-on-one in the middle.
Good hands on it from Simon. Bumped high to Andringa. He gets the recycle. Simon's putting himself about here in defence. And waffled out of play from Bovalenta. Perugia getting a few encouraging bonuses here.
Looked like it was going to be another break point on the Comperoni serve. The set has so much work to do for Bovalenta. It needs to be in front of him. He needs to have some momentum on the ball and be able to swing aggressively.
Gabriel Svansiger comes in. My goodness, Lorenzetti is employing the bench in set 2. Comes in for the usually effective Rusa hybrid serve. So this is a bit of pressure here on the Croatian international. Aside from Mutazalina in the off-season. Nice hit. Andringa passes well. And Bovalenta under pressure. Unfortunately, at the moment, isn't finding what his team needs. Crossato stops him.
Easy choice. Ball out at 3 metres. No first tempo. Andringa is the last option. So Bovalenta can just get lined up by Plotnitsky.
I said Crossato, but on that replay, it was all Plotnitsky. And we're going to get a video challenge for something that did plague Plotnitsky a bit in game 1. He touched the net quite a bit.
Another roll of the dice. Calculated gamble here to get another timeout into the late stage of this set from Dr. Buonfante.
Work out if that's the face of an innocent man or not. It was. It's all fine. Challenge lost, but that wasn't a challenge to win the point. As Liam Sketcher said, it was just to slow it down. And we're getting all sorts of movement from the bench. So Swansega's still going to serve, and a good serve it was. And in comes Sebastian Solli. That's an interesting call from Lorenzetti, Liam.
Having a lot of experience, but Perugia have been on a little roll. Let's see if it pays off.
It's another very good serve. A little bit out of system. Simon given the ball, and the new man on court, Solli, doesn't get anywhere near him.
Needs to be firing on all cylinders to be able to stop Robert Landy Simon, and Solli fresh into the game. Old legs don't help.
Cold and old, although not as old as the legs that just beat him at 38 years of age. Landy Simon, 34 years of age. Sebastian Solli, he's still out there. Good pass. Shot from Bentara, defended well enough by Bovalenta. Goes for it again, and the block's got him again. I think it's Plotnitsky once more. He's got Bovalenta on a string at the moment.
This is the ball that separates Bovalenta from being a really, really top-level opposite. A guy who can hit the ball well. A difficult situation. It's inside, the ball's a little bit far in front, and he still goes low over the net. Does he have the trust in his hand that he can target the fingers and the hands of the blockers and try and play that ball long and get it to pop up for a recycle?
Perugia bench yelling information to the blockers. Gianelli serves. They've gone percentage, but Simon at the moment in this series is unstoppable, and it's another play that has kept Piacenza ahead.
At some point, it's not about how tricky and how deceptive you can be. Sometimes the best option is the best option for a reason.
Follow out. Coretti out. In comes Yegbakir. Oh, and this is purely a blocking substitution. The young Frenchman, teenager, Daniel Yegbakir. Well, on to block, and Dringer doesn't give his blockers a chance.
Really good so far in this set. Dringer just needed to take a little bit less risk on that ball, keep the pressure on from serve, because the pressure now is Perugia and Plotnitsky to serve just 1 point in arrears.
4 passes virtually on the baseline for Plotnitsky. Gutierrez goes to the floor, recovers well. It's great work from him, but the block is up to it. And this time can't slow it. Gutierrez putting his heart and soul on the line there.
Needed to go maximum on this second swing. It's a good high ball set. This is what he's been asked to do. Stay high, swing strong, pays dividends. Very important breakpoint lead as we're in the 20s for both sides.
He's taking a little pause there. He landed pretty heavy after that swing. It's a point, and Lorenzetti forced to take a second timeout.
C'è la battuta forte, ok? Tu sei in prima linea, sulla palla alta, prima di pressare il colpo, vai sotto la palla, ok? Se tiri sul terzo uomo, il terzo uomo alto, lavora così, ok? Se non ti tocca andiamo sotto, via vai!
Eddie probably talking about the counter move against Gutierrez, that he's not swinging for the court anymore. He's just trying to go high at the block. So he needs to be ready for good technique and ready for the defense behind it.
Gutierrez moves to 5 points. Not particularly effective in terms of his efficiency. But a couple of important swings in the latter stages of this set. Now, can Simon just give them a little bit more luxury with a big serve to take them to 3 points in the lead? Nearly. Wow, what a play from Zvoranok, what a finish from Bentara.
Really tough angle for Bentara to hit. Great set. See the move from the elbows from Gianelli to be able to shovel that ball into the window for Bentara, who knows that it's going to be on tempo.
So they're not the strongest serve. Gutierrez makes it look easy and then steams in and uses all that space inside to make the shot. Piacenza get to 23.
Critical side outplay for Piacenza. Now they can be aggressive on serve and know they're going to get a couple of looks on side out.
Porro find it. He's hit some good serves today. That's another excellent ball. Tricky for Bentara. He's defended by Pace off the block. Gutierrez power tip. Kept off the floor by Gianelli and Zvoronok. Has he found the blocker? He's not sure. Referee says no, and we're going to have to go to the video here.
There'll be some sort of challenge. Either it's going to be for a block touch or for block touch. I think more out of hope than anything. Zvoronok doesn't look confident. The name we haven't mentioned too much, though, is Domenico Pace, who in game one looked like he had a personal vendetta against the entire Perugia offense. He was willing to try and beat them by himself. Only having to make one or two actions in this game.
No touch. Wow. With Zvoronok on court, Semenyuk on the bench. Lorenzetti now has a few issues to think about between sets. Oh, it's just a great hit from Porro. It looks so clean, but is it in? Referee says out. Video challenge from Dante Boninfanti to check it.
The trajectory looked like it was travelling a little bit flat. Get it to dip in time. Taking the risk of a challenge in this situation.
No, it's out. Body language will tell you that, and it's out of frame, in fact. So challenge lost, point lost. Piacenza not got it done just yet. Time for Bentara to step up for the Block Devils. Can he find a big serve here? He can't. Piacenza takes set number 2, 25-22. And it is one set all in this second semi-final. Well, Liam, not for the first time. We're left scratching our heads because I didn't see that coming.
It was a fantastic start for Piacenza, though it looked like they might have run out of steam towards the end. They showed in game one they can get off to fast starts, but hadn't finished a set. This time in game two, the home court advantage gives them a little bit more confidence. Managed to finish off set number 2. It's one set apiece. This one's wide open.
If Semenyuk is fit to play, then surely he's going to return, but we'll find that out in time. And when you're looking at a long season, you're looking at the kind of physical pressure these players are under. Quite tough to stay fit and healthy all the time, and he's carrying the kit bag. He's still got his tracksuit top on. Let's see.
There's a few rolls of the dice from Lorenzetti in that set. Sole for a bit more experience in the middle. Crossato perhaps not making the choices that they were expecting from him. Sole hoped that his experience would contribute. He didn't get a lot of time at the net to put that into play. So definitely some questions to be asked for Lorenzetti. How does he formulate his squad? Set number 3. All the important numbers coming up trumps for Piacenza. Dominating on attack. Taking some risk. A couple of errors, but really looking like they were going to run away with it at the first third of the set. Good composure to finish it off. Into the back end.
This kind of underlines the season Perugia have had. There's been a lot of 1 or 2 steps forwards and then a step back, and they've done it again tonight. They've lost their rhythm pretty easily.
And it didn't look like it was a problem until all of a sudden they were down 6-0, and then it was business as usual. There wasn't that little bit of desperation perhaps to really rip the game back open. Maybe too much patience. We'll get there in the end. They ran out of road, and now all of a sudden what seemed like a game that was well within their control at the end of set 1 is anyone's game after 2.
It's back on. It's game on again. Russo on 7 points, Bovalenta on 8, Simon on 7. Bentara also on that number, but the leading scorer at the moment, Oleg Plotnitsky on 9. It's been brilliant again.
We shouldn't act surprised. Interesting situation now for the Perugia servers. Gutierrez is holding up well. Pache is putting himself in what is probably quite a difficult position. He's moving some guys around, showing some spaces, and asking the Perugia servers to either take risk or serve into a more compact reception group where he can take a little bit more responsibility for the middle of the court.
Away we go then with set 3. The team in red, Gas Sales Blue Energy Piacenza, are back in the match. 1 set all against the Sousa Sky Perugia. They're chasing this semi-final series, losing the first game away to the Block Devils. But they've played well to get back into this one, and Semenyuk is back on court for Joranok.
As much to have a more stable receiver as anything else. See how the offense runs. Bentara getting a bigger role as the set progressed in number 2.
Very calmly done, and the tempo of that ball was impressive. The height, though, to Gutierrez was just massive.
He's a phenomenal leaper, incredible athlete. And sometimes he almost has too much time and too many options available. This time keeps it simple.
It's quite a while now, Gutierrez. With an almost open hit, defended well by Semenyuk, who then runs just a delicious pipe. And Perugia have clicked back into some rhythm.
They look so stable and so consistent so often. It is a surprise when sets like the set we just saw happen, in that they can't find that extra gear. They're so consistent, but they don't have these big pushes and big runs so often.
Handed serve of Plotnitsky, moving it across the passes. It's great work from Pache. Tidies it up off the Bovalenta hit. Gutierrez is flying right now. Bentara can't get anywhere near him.
The rhythm that he was starting to find at the end of game 1 is now in flow. As you highlighted, Simon, Pache putting himself in the position, Bovalenta in on reception. Pache can really protect the middle of the court. Good side out.
Well, Porro's put just about all of his serves in court in this match, and they've all been very good, and he's had almost nothing for it.
Bentara returns fire. He's gone down the line twice against Gutierrez. One for me, one for you.
Serve from Rousseau. Our tip is good from Gutierrez. Did he go left-handed then?
Climb the ladder. Shows I'm going to go righty, and then nope, let's go left. This creates enough of a difference in timing and angle.
Oh, that huge serve that he hit towards the back end of set 2 just seemed to get Piacenza going again. Takes pace off that one though. Semenyuk passes easily. Nicely done, very nicely done. Crusato getting himself into the match a little more than he did in the first game.
It's a nice stretch play. The question for Piacenza is how much is Semenyuk going to be set? And then to make this play, which looks like it should be played over the top of Crusato, on that trajectory, cuts it off, catches the Piacenza block waiting.
Nearly an ace, just about kept off the floor by Piacenza. Getting the job done himself, nearly Gianelli, but he's got to set the ball again. Goes to Crusato again, and this time he smacks it off the block, but it's not home yet. Well played, Piacenza. Finally put away by Bentara, who started this set really strong.
Nelly had a couple of goes at it. Thought on the third try, I better let one of these guys who get paid to hit the ball have a go at it. And this time, Bentara goes cross. So trying to create some difficult choices for the Piacenza blockers, using line and cross early on.
He will serve again, 5-3. The advantage for the visitors. Restricted to a single break.
A guy who's a really great, clean, technical hitter. He's never been a super explosive server. He's been good, but he's not a guy that you'd say you're really scared of when he hits the service line.
You can be very scared of that.
And with good reason, yeah.
Oh,
that is delightful. Both the set and the execution. Basically, he can hit that almost anywhere he wants.
First man into double figures, Bentara, with 2 quick points to go to 11. Semenyuk, heavy ball deep. Nicely done. And for the second game in a row, the big boy in the middle, Robert Landy-Simon, is unstoppable.
Once more, the squeeze from Pache, making the space in the middle of the court small, forcing Semenyuk to think, does he want to take big angle on the risk on the serve?
Inter still struggling to get into the match, though.
A couple of little flurries of offense, but it looks like it's really only a tenuous hold.
Simon showing his versatility with the pass. Ovalenta will be credited with the point because it's a net touch.
7-6 to Piacenza. And again, it doesn't look at any point that Perugia has looked flustered, but it never looks at any point like they've been determined to really change the dynamic of how the game's being played. There's 2 players in particular who, if they were fit and healthy, really could make an impact should they be introduced.
They're definitely missing Ozer. The play this season has once again been exceptional, the Argentinian captain. Shikar also a nice change-up where Semenyuk and Plotnitsky are maybe not functioning. Serve error from Robert Andringuet. Liam, I don't know how you're feeling from a professional coaching perspective, but as a commentator, this game is virtually impossible to read.
Well, neither team has shown enough consistency and really been able to execute, particularly from the service line, with enough pressure.
Way up into the air. Gutierrez goes off pace. Kalachi tidies up. Bentara showing his jumping ability against Gutierrez.
If we look at the styles of the two teams, Perugia definitely playing the cleaner, more consistent, more systemic volleyball, but it's not putting Piacenza away. It's a 3-point gap. Piacenza will take a timeout to talk about it, but this game is really in the balance.
Ricordati questa staccata forte, che anche se appoggi va di là, che sei lontano, ok? Dopo, in battuta, pensa a essere più veloce, ok? O fai le variazioni, ti pensa al lancio, ti stai chiudendo, ok? Dopo ragazzi, non ci portiamo la fase break del cambio palla, ogni attacco che passa non ci guardiamo, cosa è appunto, pensiamo al cambio palla.
Benfante has lifted the volume, lifted the intensity, lifted the frequency of the words in his timeouts. He's asking for a little bit more adjustment to speed and to think about angles that's going on, but see that Bentara has really impressed himself on this set. The desperation that Perugia need to show to be able to really put this one to bed hasn't been there when they needed it.
I think that was a brief shot of Elisabetta Curti, the president of Piacenza. Perugia right behind his superstar setter, Gino Circi. Watching on as the ball goes into court. And Simon doesn't put it away. That's a tremendous piece of defence from Gianelli. Piacenza still in the point, and Bovalenta makes it count. Well done to him.
It's a really nice swinging transition. Not trying to do too much, just getting to the high point. Block split. So Kalachi to bite off more than he can chew. Even after a dig on Robert Landy Simon, which doesn't happen too often.
9 points for Bovalenta, but the scoring has been quite sparse over the last set or so. It's a ball from Rousseau. Yeah, good stuff. Middles are getting the hang of this nowadays. A lot of middles will pass the short ball.
It's definitely something that's practiced, that at this level you cannot have a weakness in your game where your opponents can exploit it, because the servers are good enough to hit the middles on reception, so the middles have to be good enough to get the ball into system.
Very good server. Lotnitsky has been thundering them tonight. Porro tries to con Rousseau. He wasn't up for the conning, and Perugia once again control it nicely enough, and it looks like Semenyuk's okay.
Definitely the shoulder can't be too bad. Just a little breather, mental reset. Set up now from the Piacenza receivers means that there's only the strong option in the middle of the court. Pache's standing in position 1, but he will end up in the middle with Bovalenta stepping in to go 4 receivers.
Lotnitsky has missed it. Everybody in agreement, so no challenge will be issued. But a handy cushion here for Perugia. Right, can he finally get reward for the serves he's been hitting, Porro? Another one is cushioned into Gianelli. And once more, that dream attack of theirs. I wonder what the percentages are for Plotnitsky out of that pipe.
I'd hazard a guess that it's over 80%. That pipe behind with the left-hander means also the ball doesn't travel that extra half a metre to get to his other side. It can be really fast and gives him a lot of options on the angle.
I love that observation, Liam. It's not just about the pace of the ball to the attacker, it's how quickly they can actually get to hit it.
Because he can run right off the shoulder of Gianelli, so the ball can be, it's a really short decision-making time for the block against him. Short decision-making time as Comparoni finds a point through the middle.
Take that. Gutierrez find another great big serve. This time. Players are having to operate right on the edge. It's testament to them that they make it look so easy. But we've seen a couple of mistimings in this match already. Just look at that. 4 players in motion to the net. Porro finds Comparoni again to make the shot.
Gutierrez does run one of the fastest pipe tempos in volleyball. Doesn't get it set very often, but he always seems to be in the air as the ball's in the setter's hands.
Trying to make that point to younger players and teams at a slightly lower level about the workload now that is placed on the wing spikers in the modern game. The role has changed quite significantly. Yes, the pipe has been there for a long time, but it was always a higher, slower set. Now, Liam, they work, well, as hard as the middle blockers in terms of offence.
They certainly do. Bovalenta forcing the Perugia defence to work a little bit too hard on that ball. But the role of the opposite and the role of the outside hitters, the opposite used to be the workhorse. He would get 40, 50 balls a game, and his job was to fix all the bad situations. Now that is more often than not going towards position 4, and they're expected to recycle and defend and receive and serve and do everything.
Looks at Daisy. Well saved by Crossato. It's been absolutely hammered by Simon, and I think that's the second pickup Gianelli has made on Simon in this set.
It is, and this one pops up invitingly for Ole Plotnitsky. So, well, if the setter's going to take the first one, Bentara made the defense.
No, it's Bentara. My apologies. My apologies.
So both of the right side players for Perugia have made their dig against Robert Landy Simon. It resulted in a timeout for Piacenza, 4 points behind Perugia.
And they haven't ended up in hospital.
No.
Questo ci poteva stare un po' più di pazienza e magari lo portava a casa noi. Mauro, vieni qua. Allora ragazzi, sulla pipe andiamo tutti dentro, ma non dobbiamo stare lunghi, avanti a farci colpire, ok? Se tirano sulle linee non fa niente. Sull'attacco di Bentara, anche qua il 6 avanti e l'1 quasi stretto, ci facciamo colpire. Se la palla cade lunga qua si cazzi, ok?
Really explicit instructions from Bonifante about where he wants block to be and what the idea is for Piacenza against the offense that Perugia is running right now. 7 not such a big factor, so thinking about particularly Bentara, where they want to make him work a little bit harder. Bentara to find a way to dominate again and show why he was the MVP in game 1 of the series.
Skills in the crowd, nearly 3,500 of them in this iconic venue. Right, we're coming into the area of the set where the substitutions could become important. Well, Porro saves it but can't find a hitter. They're going to get another go at it though. Gutierrez turns provider. Well, that's a ball that really shouldn't be finished, and Perugia will be kicking themselves at missing the chance.
Ringo once more takes the canny option. He doesn't look to blast this ball on a crazy angle. He just sees there's going to be hands up there, tees off, forces the block to be perfect against that swing.
Taking his hands away. Gets his hands on that though, and Russo back into the scoring zone. 16-12 then. Now, any which way you can get it done when it comes to the playoffs. It doesn't matter what the result is as long as you get the win, but it looks like Piacenza, if they want to level the series, are going to have to do it tonight in 5.
They look pretty comfortable. They haven't skipped away to a big lead, but it's never really been within touching distance for Piacenza.
Working really well now against Robert Landy Simon, block and defence. They're not happy with the way Russo's played that ball, but he's been given the point.
Simon is the most dangerous attacking player for Piacenza, so for Perugia to have made the right adjustments with block, with defence, and now the frustration starting to show.
Would you have been happy with this one?
I think it's okay in the scheme of the game. That he hasn't taken the ball backwards and moved it left and right. It's a little bit slow out of the hands. But it's a reaction play. It's not cynical.
He was fine with it. Russo scores. Bentara gets the overpass and gets a little lucky against the Porro block, but gets it away for 18-12. And it does look like set 3 is done in favour of Perugia.
Starting to skip away. Service consistency starting to pay off, and the adjustments on block and defence, particularly against Robert Landy Simon, Valenta not being able to do enough damage, allows Perugia to focus their attention on the centre of the court.
Tara, MVP and 19 points in the opening game. Far away from that today again. It's another delightful set, and it's well hit by Bovalenta.
One with the full commit block against Simon there. Could have done better on the defence. Great tactical serve. Gutierrez out of the play.
At the moment, all the big servers for Piacenza, every time they arrive, you're just thinking that they're going to need at least 2 or 3. That's a lot of pressure on the service arm.
They've been really stable in reception. They haven't been amazing, but they haven't been beaten very often. Stability can be a blessing and a curse sometimes.
Touch from Plotnitsky, but not got enough on that to keep it in play. By that phrase about stability being a blessing or a curse, you mean that they just don't have a big enough gear change sometimes?
Absolutely right. So we saw in set number 2, they needed to find another gear. They got themselves into a difficult situation and didn't have that run, that big push to change the momentum, the dynamism of the set.
Something Piacenza are trying to do from the baseline right now, but with no success. So at the moment, their serving rhythm is gone.
Body language seems to be going with it. Some hands on hips, there's some hung shoulders.
But only forced to pass. Bovalenta forces it through the hands to the floor.
Has had his moments. Hasn't had a consistent imprint in the outcome of his set. Infante, he's talking about really specific situations, but unless the service pressure is there, unless the reception quality is there, hard for Piacenza to be able to put together any kind of consistent offense.
Well, impact server, Gutierrez forced to take the pace off to get a ball in, which is the first serve that's gone in for a while, and they get the bonus of an error from Plotnitsky. Miss out of that pipe in a while. Right, you can put a bit more on this one. No, again, takes it off. Easy ball, back to the thing that they know works so well, and Plotnitsky makes sure of it.
Piacenza block is really 6s and 7s, jumping everywhere, 3 blockers, all thinking about their own individual hitter and not being able to make any decision on the play. That's the stress that Perugia insists to put on teams.
Gutierrez away from the court, so once again the substitution to bring Luca Loretti in. There's a libero in the regular coloured shirt. So there's plenty of passing out on the floor, but less attacking option. And that is punished this time by Semenyuk.
Enough to keep Semenyuk involved in the offense. Had a couple of swings in the set. He's done a really good job providing some reception support.
Coverage on the Comparoni attack. Dringer. He's giving it everything. He's played pretty well, hasn't he, in this support role?
For what they've asked of him and what he's probably been expected to deliver up until this point of the season, this is pretty close to the maximum. He's chipping in 6, 7, 8 points and being really stable on reception. Hasn't maybe had the impact he would like to have on serve. Probably the only shortcoming.
Nice ball from Semenyuk. Just allows once again the middle to be released, and Crusato in the kind of form that we saw him in the Supercoppa, really contributing here.
Really is amazing how many good Italian middles there are. Every team in Superliga has some guy who's maybe not in the picture for the national team, but is just a really good high club level middle.
Nicely done from Piacenza, but the set looks to be gone.
Substitution will enter for Piacenza, so Bovalenta takes a break. Set number 4, early on. With Dragan Travica.
We saw the 39-year-old Dragan Travica working very hard in the background to keep himself warm, something Liam Sketcher pointed out in game 1. It's incredible that he is able to keep himself in great shape and come in and be an impact player. Still in play. Andringa off the top of the block. He'd have only been looking up there, Andringa, and he's managed to see the hands in the heavens.
The phrase I wanted to use is a heads-up play, and that's exactly what it is. He's just looking up and seeing what's in front of him. There's almost no approach. Keepy uppy from Landy Simon. Little shuffle of the feet, look for some fingers and tees off.
Well, incidentally, Robert Landy Simon refuses to be involved with the keepy-uppy game in warm-up. So he's showed some good skills there. And if this is out, we've got a bit of a momentum switch here, and probably going to be a timeout as well if this challenge is lost. Which is something I believe won't be happening on the VNL this summer. No timeout off the back of a challenge.
Keeps the game moving. I think you get enough of a natural break with the video check, particularly on any of the things where it needs to be a close look from the officials.
There we go. Challenge is lost by Lorenzetti. And what has been a pretty well-oiled machine from Semeniu Komplotnitsky in this set. Just briefly stumbling. No timeout follows. Travitsa hits a belting serve. And Bentara forced to tip. Travitsa goes to the floor, and would you believe it? Would you believe it? What a time to fluff your lines.
The other hard part of this is Travitsa's on the floor and he sticks a hand out. Simon's there and he sticks a hand out. If they play this ball over, it's alive. Even if it's an absolute hash of a set, this ball here can be played.
Some little rule changes that are coming into the modern game. We'll see a few of those over the course of the summer. Some interesting ones involving the libero position. More on that later. Leon can't put it away. Chance here to win the set, and there we go. Bentara does his job. He is absolutely flying at the moment. 25-20 then. Perugia recover from the disappointments of set number 2 to take a 2-1 lead in this second round of the semi-final. So there we go. Perugia back into the lead. And it's Piacenza now who have to push really hard if they want to take this to 5. Quick chat about some of the rules coming in this summer, Liam, to be tested on the VNL.
I think the main one is that there's going to be more movement for the receivers and the serving side on the rotation fault basically being eliminated from the game. So as the server starts their move, the receivers can shift their position. And there was a little grey area this season, and a few leagues have adjusted their rules accordingly, that it had to be when the server tossed the ball and servers would freeze on their approach and catch people out of rotation. If we look at the stats, pretty clear. 3 points the difference in attack, 5 points difference on the scoreboard, 1 block, and no point did Perugia look like they were in too much trouble during set number 3. That's probably the big one, the change with when receivers can move. It's just with the whistle from the referee, and everyone can go wherever they want. There's differing opinions as to whether that's good for the game or not. I guess we'll find out over the summer.
Yeah.
There's also a few others floated, a few more wild suggestions, particularly with liberos being able to set with their hands inside 3 metres. Those won't be coming into play, at least not just yet.
The other one is an increase in substitutions and the potential for the libero to sometimes serve.
Yeah, I think that one needs to be trialled maybe somewhere else. But the substitutions will have an effect, particularly over a long and busy summer, with teams playing continental championships as well as the VNL, being able to maybe get another player into game shape, ready to go a little bit more, or give someone a little bit more break during a game. I think that has maybe a bigger picture impact than particularly a specific situation impact.
There we go. Thank you very much to our Volleyball World expert analyst, Liam Sketcher. Enjoying this one, Liam? Is that the right phrase? This is a weird game to watch.
It's a fascinating game. I'm not sure it's high-octane, free-flowing, beautiful highlight volleyball, but it's interesting to see these gritty matches where nothing's really happening easily for long periods of time for either side, how they keep trying to find different solutions, how they move the ball around the court, what little adjustments they can be making on block and reception and defense, and how that's starting to affect the game, because it's been a real back and forth. No team has been able to have sustained pressure across more than one set. So who knows what's going to happen in set number 4? I'll tell you what's going to happen in about 25 minutes' time.
Away we go with set number 4. At the moment, Sasusa Sky Perugia, the Block Devils as they're known in the white, the visitors to the Palabanca Sport Arena, have the lead at 2-1, but that doesn't set a particularly good tone from the captain, Simone Gianelli. Gasell's Blue Energy Piacenza then in the red, the home side, looking to engineer, dragging this game kicking and screaming into a 5th set. Looking to try and get an unlikely win from here, which would level the series at 1-1. Race to 3. Well, that's a nice start from Bentara. He has once again improved into the match. So 16 points from Wassim Bentara. He's the top scorer.
Looks more and more like he's going to be the guy that will drag Perugia along. He'll just keep doing his job at a high level, give them some options for variation, but he will be the bedrock of their offense. They want to wrap this one up in 4.
Risky heavy serve. Gutierrez cushions it into the air. And Andringa, having got away with plenty in this match, is stopped clean and simple by Bentara.
The fact that we've been saying his name a little bit more when we're talking about the Piacenza offense shows that Simon's been blocked and defended out of the game. Bovalenta's waxed and waned. There has been not a noticeable impact from Gutierrez in a set and a half.
Generally tonight, the serving from Perugia has been solid and consistent. Far fewer errors than in game 1. That was the main problem they had in game 1. They lost that serving rhythm in the 3rd set. That allowed Piacenza to at least compete. And the last thing they want to do is lose that rhythm again. Bovalenta, for the first time tonight, weighs in from the service line.
Changes his angle a little bit to come from the middle of the court so he can really isolate Semenya from a serve. Instead of serving straight where he's probably trying to bring the ball across, this way means that Colaci has no way to cut off and help.
This is superb. What a time for Bovalenta to wake it up. 2 aces on the bounce from the young man.
Colaci trying to go a really long way to his left to be able to help out Semenyuk on reception. It is a little bit too far.
Oh, what a save. What a save from Gianelli. That's got to be one of the top 10 sets of the season, isn't it?
That is phenomenal athleticism in the first place, and the second phenomenal part is the ball control, to be able to keep this ball not just in play but to be attacked.
And he showed one way to Russo and set it the other.
I'm going to show front with the thumb and then I'm going to set backwards with the little finger.
Too good from the Prince of Perugia. Right, we're going to get a slow down video challenge. Reaching beyond the net is the official version playing in Piacenza airspace, basically.
We're going to see whether it's a fault or get a really good look at a phenomenal set and see just how high Simone Gianelli was above the net when he contacted this ball.
We can thank Dante Boninfanti for that. Go. Wow. It's just brilliant.
It's armpits over the tape. Even he's impressed by that.
Clip that up, put it on the show reel. An overloaded show reel where Gianelli is concerned. So the threat of a big lead is initially seen off, but slightly worrying here for Perugia is that Bovalenta seems to have found his way in.
exactly right. He's come out aggressive in set 4. Obviously, we saw this in set 2 where Porros said, I'm going to give you the ball a lot. You need to be ready to go. Delivering in early doors of set 4.
Dringer unfortunately can't join the action from the service line. Tara getting a bit from the crowd. It's a good ball. Gutierrez does wonders with that one. They keep a 2-point lead.
Another good high swing from Gutierrez. Just looking for the top of the block, not trying to bounce anything or create crazy angles. Once more, Bovalenza in for 4 receivers, allows Pache to position himself in the middle of the court.
Off pace, Kalachi reads it. And Semenyuk tries to chip it down the line without any joy. Maybe there is. Plenty of debate. And Gianelli's given it some through the net.
That's the... Yep, thank you for wasting a challenge on that one. He's pretty convinced. Looks like Semenyuk was as convinced as Simone Gianelli after his attack.
Vincenzo Carcioni can't resist exchanging a smile with Dante Boninfanti. Wasn't a convincing swing from Semenyuk, but it looks like it's got the job done.
If nothing else, it creates a little break set for Perugia to get some momentum. Piacenza to have to think a little bit longer about how they want to try and win this set.
Thumbs up from Gianelli, because the net touch that he thought he saw, he did see.
See indeed.
Semenyuk gets away with one. Follows it up with a really good serve. Oh, that's a crazy ball from Porro. Oh my goodness, and it's resulted in a point. That is edge of the envelope.
They were really testing the boundaries of what is legal contact on the ball, and then this swing here, Nitsky, he has nowhere to go forward through this ball. It's as tight as it can be. Able to play Comparoni, good technique.
Piacenza cling on to the lead. Delicious serve, which Plotnitsky does well to play. They managed to keep the ball flying, as the FIVB like to say, but unfortunately it's flown out of bounds from the Gutierrez swing.
Difficult situation. He wants that ball in front of him. It's a little bit behind. Loses the vision at the last second of where the block is. Really hard to try and find fingers in that situation.
Exist here. Sato's serve shouldn't present a problem. It doesn't. Side out is achieved, and an 8-6 lead still remains.
Pache has done a great job of putting himself right at the centre of Piacenza's reception. He's really been able to move the pieces around enough and make himself a problem for Perugia. If they want to take maximum risk to avoid him, they have to take too much risk.
Gutierrez, he knows it. He knows that these are really important elements to this set, and he's not managed to deliver on anything yet.
When Dringer misses his serve, and that should be the safest serve, the other guys who they really want to push in Porro and Bovalenza and Gutierrez they feel that pressure just a little bit more.
17 serve errors from a team that were very good from the service line in game one. Perugia, though, have set their level and played to it. But Piacenza, just like they did in set two, for the moment, are coping.
With another swing. Can unleash on that ball when he gets it in rhythm. Swings with a clear idea in his head of what he wants to do. He's a very dangerous player. Sometimes he just seems to try and find too much of a solution.
17 points for Bovalenta. Bentaro been quiet for a little while. He's on 18. Gets hands on this one. Does Gianelli give him the ball? He does this time. It's defended well by Gutierrez. And Simon gets another go at it. And second time around, he puts it on the floor, and Piacenza just pushing here.
Nice little buffer. Question is discussed already this evening. Does Perugia have that gear to go to where they need to catch up?
Timeout called by Angelo Lorenzetti.
Poi su Bobo, la palla è là, Occhio che ogni tanto la fa anche cadere, quella zona lì tocca coprirla. Anche con più generosità di prima. Ok? Bon. Poi non abbiamo avuto grandi occasioni, ragazzi, tutta la partita che non difendiamo. È arrivato il momento di prendere una palla. Via, vai! Vai!
Angelo Lorenzetti is trying to find the other gear. Can his team respond? They're going to get something from the service line. They haven't been able to string together multiple breakpoint opportunities. Everything's looking fine. Bentara's doing his job. But nowhere else do they look like they've really got a player who's ready to take the game over.
And I know Kamil Semenyuk is not the most demonstrative of players, but he doesn't quite look at the races tonight. A wayward pass. Bentara under pressure, threads it down the line. Hits the middle blocker who defends well, Comparoni. Well, there we go. Maybe he is with it. That's a crunching pipe from the Polish international.
Trying to read the varying emotions of Kamil Semenyuk. It's something like trying to read the emotions of a rock at some points. Stony-faced, really consistent.
And the occasional raise of an eyebrow.
I think he smiles when they win a trophy, so he's had a few smiles in his time.
Litsky off the net. Creates a free ball, which Pache hoists up to the ceiling. Semenyuk trying to run that pipe really hard, but at the moment the focus is on the front court players from Gianelli. Goes to Russo in the end after Bentara was defended.
Russo does a great job to make himself available in transition. It's always that quick transition situation where the opposition middle is trying to get back to some sort of starting position and never sets their feet, cannot get a maximum jump. Russo takes advantage.
Sorry, it's Plotnitsky running the pipe, which has been very successful for them, and that's a really good serve. That's a very clever ball from Plotnitsky. Risky, but it's got the reward.
Great moment to go for the change-up serve. It's been strong, strong, strong. Pache gets caught short this time, having been doing such a good job taking up space in the middle of the court. And just like that, we're at 10-10. The Perugia have just an inkling of momentum.
So initial damage on the scoreboard repaired. Fourth ace. Game from Perugia, goes for exactly the same ball. It's brilliantly read by Pache and delivered, and Simon gets to double figures.
Simon this time going towards position 5. He'd been defended well in position 1. Goes back the other way with authority.
Venom in that spike. Proper crash helmet moment there for Kalachi. Plotnitsky. Nice, that's more like it from Semenyuk. Hit that ball with conviction.
+4, so shifted all the way across. Is almost a negative reception. There's only one option that is in front of Simone Ginelli, but the tempo that they play, really good connection with Semenuk. Very hard for the blockers to choose the right time to jump.
So back into a side-out game here, and Andringa with a very solid shot once more.
A service substitution for Andringa, having made no real impact with his last couple of efforts.
Good call this from Dante Bonifanti. But it's something that Loretti doesn't do a huge amount of. Not in competitive, full-on situations. However, they've created a chance. Gutierrez, though, is defended. Gianelli fires it wide to Semenuk. Block is all over it, and that'll be good enough. Wow, Piacenza driven on again.
For a Perugia receiver, there probably wasn't a lot in the scouting report on the Loretti serve. They've had one look at it now. A great fight from both sides, creating chances, and then the moment was there. Robert Landy-Simon closes the door.
8 blocks apiece. Nice defence down the line from Bovalenta. Gutierrez, those are the balls he has to finish, and he knows it, and that's why he's so frustrated.
It's where he's got a switch in this idea from his opponent knows he's just looking to swing at hands, that he still has to find the ball somewhere near the court. Hands pulled, no hands to hit.
Subs watch on nervously because Perugia have definitely lost some rhythm in this set.
Lorenzetti has showed that he's not afraid to make a change for critical moments.
Sole in, Crossato out. Joronok just getting a lecture as well. He might be coming in soon. Big service, well dealt with by Plotnitsky. Bentara forced to tip. Chance to take the lead out to 3. Gutierrez, this time he makes it. Piacenza are pushing this all the way.
It's a great bump set by Loretti, backwards over his head, puts him right in the window. Gutierrez, he doesn't have to think too much. He can see what's in front of him. He has good vision. That allows him to swing at the top of the block. 13 points to his name.
Big serve again from Simon. Sole has to deal with it. Bentara this time gets a swing on the ball. Blockers thought they caught a piece of him there. Bentara celebrates the point though, and the ref gives it to him. Oh, that was close. Piacenza don't want to get caught up in those kinds of arguments right now. They've got good rhythm. Excellent serve though from Semenuk. Chance here. Well, chance created, chance taken. Fearsome hit down the line from Bentara, straight into the body of Loretti.
Set up by Semenuk, wanting to take the risk on the first serve. Bovalenta's been in a lot on reception. This is the first time they've really been able to cause him some trouble. Aggressive cross-court angle from Semenuk.
One more point than he scored the other night. 19 got him the MVP. Bentara. Another good ball onto Bovalenta, and Gutierrez is taking over the reins. And he's stepped up after the miss. He's made 2 very good shots.
Good fight by Bovalenta just to get a chance to have a swing. Lovely set. Again, let's Gutierrez approach the ball. Let his have his rhythm on approach, not waiting, not trying to find time.
Short ball, Plotnitsky gets to it. Bentara giving it again. Blockers getting a lot of touches on Bentara. And Plotnitsky called into action. He goes deep on the angle and gets what he's after. But Perugia living dangerously still.
Getting away with it on the first swing from Bentara, the good tactical serve. Take out the front court attacker from the left-hand side. The ball has to go in the middle and back. Make the block decision quite easy. Do enough to keep it alive, keeping themselves within touching distance in set number 4.
Sebastian Solé, new man on court for Perugia. It's Pache, not his best pass, gives the blockers a chance. And the block is excellent. What a time to find that from Gianelli. These guys are never far away from it, but that is an important time to deliver.
Important move here from Gianelli is he doesn't try and go too far. He just jumps straight up, gets his block in the best position he can make. He's not reaching out, feeling like he's got his feet in the right spot. Good discipline pays off. It's a PIACENZA timeout at 16-16.
Quindi magari la trovate anche, la attacchiamo. Occhio, quando abbiamo due rigiocate nella stessa zona, restano là. Quindi se facciamo una copertura tipo questa, e apri e arriva in ritardo il centrale, ok? O viceversa. D'accordo?
Saw previously from Dr. Bonifante that he was starting to talk about really specific details, but PIACENZA couldn't get the basics right often enough to execute those. Now they're right in the thick of this one, so the information going to Palaporo about where they want the offense to flow, how they want to be using the edges in particular. So position 4, when those choices are being made, when to get Bovalenta a couple more balls, and what's the moment to get the ball through the middle. Comparoni takes a step out, and Galassi re-enters the game for the first time since the early stages of set number 1.
Wow. Had a health scare early in the year and might have just been feeling a bit groggy at the start of this set, but he's back in. And that is a very good side out under pressure from Bovalenta. So PIACENZA are going to have to work again.
Reintroduction of Galassi, even if it isn't at his best, does cause an extra question for the Perugia blockers. Is he the Galassi that we know and love? And are they going to use him accordingly?
Gutierrez trying so hard to make things work, but for every positive there's been a few negatives, unfortunately, from the Cuban. Still got himself to 14 points with Plotnitsky. Bovalenta on 18, Bentara leading the scoring stats on 20, and Gino Cerci, the Perugia president, in the glasses in the background and the grey top, looking a little concerned here. Gutierrez passes Gianelli, and once again Andringa gets it done. How many points is that? Andringa's in double figures, 11 points.
He's been a really good player at a high level for a long time, so there's no shortage of volleyball intelligence, and he's definitely not scared in the moment.
Galassi off pace, easy for Semenyuk, and good cut. Plotnitsky could see everything that he needed to see there and knew what he had to make on the shot.
Such a strong cross-court angle, Plotnitsky. He can hit that ball line. As soon as he sees the block move, he can just drag it back cross-body. So hard to block in that situation.
Stats guys giving a bit of extra encouragement here to Oleg Plotnitsky. 18 all. Boy, do they need his serving now. It's a good one. Poro makes it one-handed. Simon tries for the recycle, but Bovalenta mishandles, and Perugia at 19-18 get a move on.
There's the weakness here. There's no real high ball situation for Andringa. They're only going to result in potentially a recycle. Poro takes the really aggressive option to pay off. Russo getting his instructions relayed from the bench. The serve will be going towards one side of the court.
down the centre onto Gutierrez. Well, if he's made that, that is another phenomenal swing from Robert Andringa. He has gone above and beyond today.
Question of how quickly experienced players can recover with a short turnaround between these games. He probably hasn't done a huge amount, just a bit of a light workout, probably some weights. Looking fresh to go.
Chance to score. Bovalenta doesn't take it. Massive once again. Russo is really putting himself about at the net right now. Closes the angle, gives Semenyuk the chance.
Really nice aggressive serve. This should be a perfect situation. Semenyuk, what a phenomenal choice to step back inside. That's a brave choice, paying off.
Chance goes begging for Piacenza. They've got to make this shot. Andringa giving it again, but it was one too many, and that's the problem against blockers of this quality.
Anything other than a high ball situation where Andringa has time, or the perfect ball where he's going to have a one-on-one, it's just not the option for him. Nice hand read as well by Bentara.
Timeout Piacenza, and for the first time in this set, Piacenza looking a bit of trouble.
Diamogli un po' più di altezza e spingiamola se riusciamo. C'hai sempre l'uscita sua e tu prepara, guardalo dietro, anche sull'esclamativa, d'accordo, Vamo!
Exclamativo is referring to the situation after reception where the ball's probably around 3 meters in the middle of the court. So still an opportunity for the setter to work fast to the left and right, but probably not so much chance to use the middle part of the court.
Piacenza do not want to get stuck on this rotation. So the next ball from Porro has got to be good. Let's see if Perugia have the courage of their convictions on this one. If it's a good pass, the option really, Simon or Bovalenta, with Gutierrez possibly out of the pipe. It's a great serve. Oh, well played, Roberto Russo. Well played, Perugia.
The execution on serve from Perugia in set number 4 has been maybe not risk averse in terms of velocity, but they definitely have taken some risk on the angles they've been trying to serve, really trying to isolate receivers, break down the Piacenza reception group.
Travelling ultras with lots to celebrate here as Roberto Russo turns on the afterburners. 13 points for him now on that ace, and 100 Superliga serve points for the middleman.
Again, works the angle across. Andringa, really aggressive hybrid, looking for the corner. I think Bovalenta on one side now, Andringa on the other.
2 points away from a 2-0 lead. Ace number 2 from Roberto Russo, and he's basically finished this one single-handed. Brilliant from him.
Fantastic clutch serving from Russo. The game was in the balance. Now, basically all over bar the handshakes for Perugia.
Multiple match points then for the Block Devils. Robert Landy Simon temporarily delays what feels like it's going to be the inevitable, as 4 match points remain for Perugia. Porro out. Yegbakedo is in as a blocker. The last time they tried this substitution, Piacenza missed the serve, but it's 3 great blockers in front court at the moment. Andringa, though, has got to get this part of his game right, and he's got to get it right now. Tickles the net tape. Ball in is good. Blockers are stranded, and Semenyuk finishes with ease. 25-20 in the end. An imperious performance from Perugia at the back end of that set, and it means they take a 2-0 lead in this Scudetto semi-final race to 3. Well, Liam Sketchy, you can't help feeling that we've been denied a true contest in the absence, particularly